How do I stop feeling like everything is going to go wrong? This is a really important question. Thank you so much to those of you who have asked. I want to first and foremost remind you that if you're feeling this way, if you're feeling some of the existential anxiety or doubt or dread that something's going to go wrong, you are so far from alone. It is a pretty tumultuous time and things are scary and unpredictable and uncertain. There is nothing wrong with you. So now that we have that on the table, let's talk about some tools. So I'd encourage you to think about, in the past, if you have thought that something might go catastrophically wrong, what percentage of the time has it actually? So just a little bit of something that's called reality checking. And as, helpful or bucket forming that phrase can seem, it's just putting to paper sometimes behaviorally and evolutionarily, we have a tendency to over-prepare for the worst possible outcome because we want to ensure our survival. So with that in mind, we're focused so much more on the possible negative outcome or even the negative things that are happening in the current moment than some of the potential silver linings, some of the possible positive outcomes that might happen. And one way to kind of see, is this real? How much of this is my own conditioning? How much of this am I bringing to this? Or how much is the environment actually cueing red flags, or maybe something is about to go wrong? Maybe I should change course or introduce a new set of action. So something you might want to do is track over time, as you're feeling that way, what percentage of the time does the catastrophic result actually occur? And considering that you're starting this now, you can think in hindsight, what might you expect? What might you anticipate? But I'd encourage you to start tracking it now so that then the next time you're having some of that fear, some of that anxiety, you can look back at the log and you can see, okay, if 5 days I felt that that would happen and none of the days the catastrophic thing happened, or maybe one of the days, you can think, okay, well, maybe if 20% of the time that did happen, that's 80% of the time that it didn't. So we can start to shift some of our attention there. And another way is to try to practice boundaries around things that trigger for you some of the existential fear and dread. So if it's a particular behavior on social media, if it's a particular channel on TV or news outlet, if it's a particular relationship or particular task that you're regularly approaching, having conversations with, or being responsible for, try to practice curiosity around when you start to feel that everything's going to go wrong. What happened right before? What happened earlier in the day? And then day after day after day and week after week and month after month, are you starting to see a pattern? And are there ways that you can introduce some more boundaries? Some of these things may be inevitable that you have to interact with them, but maybe you can introduce some boundaries. First and foremost, you'll have more awareness of, oh, maybe this thing is impacting me versus this being an objective truth. And then you can start to introduce, okay, if that's the case, what type of relationship do I want to have with this thing? And what types of boundaries can I introduce so that, okay, I can consume this for this amount of time, but after that, I'm going to acknowledge, you know what, this is going to start to snowball in a place I don't want to go. So I'm actually going to step away right now. I'm going to introduce this space. So I hope that those two things are helpful for you. I know that this time is really hard. So if nothing else, please try to introduce something in your day-to-day that brings a tiny bit of light and laughter, even if it's an episode of Friends or Seinfeld. Try to text or call someone who might send you a heart emoji in return, could be yourself, friend, or loved one, and try to check in on your strong friends because everyone is going through something. I hope this was helpful for you, and I look forward to seeing you soon.